Hey guys, first of all, I do apologize if you hear any sounds during this recording. I'm recording it on my phone, and that's the one disadvantage when you record something on your phone or your tablet. You're going to get maybe, notifications, text, if you will, messages, and it's going to cause a sound to occur. I mean, it even goes with the computer too. If you have the volume up on the computer while you're recording, you don't turn it down, you're going to hear the dee telling you, hey, here's a notification and all that. But anyway, the reason I wanted to come on here, and I do apologize if I stumble on my words a little bit. I'm still kind of waking up. Let me get some coffee here for a second. That's better. But yeah, like I said, I'm still waking up. It's about, let me see. It's about basically 9:33 a.m. Pacific time on this last Wednesday in February the 26th, 2025. So yeah, I do apologize if I stumble on my words a little bit. But I wanted to come on here and I wanted to give a shout out to Jack in Goph. That's right, that's what his name is. Jack in Goph. That's Goph. Jack in Goph. And the reason I want to shout him out is because he's one of those YouTubers, video upload content creators that will dedicate a channel to one specific thing or maybe two specific things that they are, I guess you could say they're fans of, if you will. And in Jack's case, he is a fan of ladies in fur coats and in bubble baths or baths entirely. Now, you might say, well, that's kind of a strange thing to be a fan of. That's true, but then again, you're talking to someone that has gone on record and said that they, along with many others, are fans of what's known as the lustful melt gag or the melting gag, the trope where a character melts into a puddle of goo, or they're fans of the, female. And I say that with all due respect, no offense. I say it with all due respect, no offense. Female shapeshifter trope as well, where basically the main character, being female, has the power to shapeshift into whoever or whatever she wants, or even melt down into a puddle of goo. But yeah, you're basically preaching to the choir when wondering, hey, that's kind of a strange thing to be a fan of. But everybody has, everybody has a little, I guess you could say, what's the word I'm trying to, everybody has their own little, I guess you could say, hobbies, if you will, I guess you could say guilty pleasures. And, for a lot of us, that doesn't make us weird or anything. It just makes us unique. And Jack, in my opinion, is a very unique person in that way because he's just sharing his love, his guilty pleasure, for what he enjoys. He gets a kick out of it, and he knows that there are others out there that get a kick out of it as well. He knows that. I mean, you look on YouTube, for example, and all you have to do is put in bubble baths in the search engine, or bubble bath scenes, or whatever, or bubble bath bubble bath women scenes, or whatever you want to call it, and you're going to get a whole plethora of content, as a result. You'll even get playlists. Dedicated, to that very subject. And you have women themselves, and I say this with all due respect, no offense. You have women themselves that will upload content of them soaking and submerging in a bubble bath, soaking in a bubble bath, submerging under a bubble bath, you name it. You will have that. The same with women in fur coats. You will have women upload channels where they are basically modeling a fur coat in front of the mirror, if you will, mirror closet. The closets that have a mirror like what we have in our house, in my house, I should say. But basically, they will model it. They will model a fur coat. And people will also have, like Jack, they will have channels and playlists dedicated to that very subject as well. So there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But The reason I wanted to come on here is I wanted to give a bit of advice to Jack and Goph, and as well as anybody else out there that does this. And again, there are many that do this, believe it or not. But I wanted to give a bit of advice to him and everyone else that is in that same genre. You see, one thing about these fans, if you will, and it goes for any fans of any kind of trope, if you will. The one thing about them is they like to, like I said, they like to dedicate a channel to, what they're fans of, what their guilty pleasure is, because they know others have that guilty pleasure. But the one thing they seem to kind of, I guess you could say, misinterpretate is how do you share that guilty pleasure? How do you share it? Well, in Jack's case, and it's the same for anybody else, but in Jack's case, there are, many movies and shows out there that, basically will have, or he's heard will have, or seen for himself will have, a scene of a woman in a bowl bath. There's no doubt. There's no doubt about that. He knows there are a peripheral of movies and scenes out there that will have that. So instead of basically doing what I would consider would be the, I guess you could say the more, I guess you could say, how do I put this, more logical direction, and I say that with all due respect to Jack, all due respect, but in my opinion, it would be the more logical direction, and that is basically, either get a YouTube Premium account, which would allow you to download the content, or find a YouTube video downloader, which will allow you to download the content, or use something like OBS Studio or Cyber Director, whichever one comes natural, or whatever program you use, Adobe, you name it, whatever comes natural to you, or whatever is more, I guess you could say, accessible in some cases. Basically, I would go and use any of those opportunities to basically to basically get the clip, to basically, look at the show, look at the movie, if you will. Look at the show, look at the movie, if you will. And go to the scene there. Go to the scene and try to clip that scene out. That's what I would do. Now, I'm not saying that Jack doesn't do that, because obviously he did with one scene that unfortunately got blocked. Yeah, that's the one disadvantage about trying to upload these kind of scenes. You see, you want to share them with the world. But the one disadvantage is that you could end up getting them blocked. And you don't know why. You look at it and you're like, it's only one clip. It's barely a minute, if that, or it's barely 30 seconds, if that. What's the issue? And there is no real issue, in my opinion, because one of the videos I've uploaded, as you know, that's getting a lot of views in the past 5 months, it's almost in the 10,000s, is the video, I actually did 2 of them, but the latter one, which focuses only on Babs Bunny, Dot Warner, and Minerva Mink, of them melting into goo, or melting into puddles and everything, in their respective shows. That's gotten almost about 10,000 views in less than not even half a year yet. And that's, that might not be, AVGN impressive numbers and all that, but it's still impressive. Still very impressive. But again, what I'm trying to get at is that I uploaded, that compilation of scenes, and each scene was barely like 5 seconds, if 6 seconds, if not 10 seconds at most, but barely 5 seconds, I should say. Excuse me. It was barely in that range, because you had 10 seconds with the 2 Babs scenes, from Europe in 30 Minutes and Wonderful Tiny Toon Christmas. You had 5 seconds of the Dot Warner scene from the Space Probe short they did on the OG Animaniacs. So that's like 15 right there. Then you had about 5 with Minerva melting, 5 or a little bit more, Minerva melting for the first time in anybody's eyes, in moon over Minerva. So that's like another 5, that's like 20, if you will. And then you have Meet Minerva with her melting through her best friend's cousin's arms, melting in half, basically into becoming one puddle on the ground. But the point is, I've never had any issue. Never. I'm able to make a little bit of monetization on there because of the fact that they are not, very long clips. So just 5-second clips at most that are complemented together, chaptered off individually as their own, but complemented together as one video. And the video is not even 30 seconds long, if you will, not even that. And even when you add the olive portion, the olive oil scene from Paul's Voo's Woos, which I did originally, there's no issue there either. There is no issue there either. Because again, they're barely around 30 seconds. And they're very short scenes, very short clips. So you got to wonder, what is going on here? What happened? Why would he lose this? And again, the reason he lost it is mainly because of the fact that there are certain companies out there, certain services internationally that are like, nope, you can't have that. You can't have that, and they will take it away. Sometimes it takes them a while to find, automatically, if you will, because that's basically how they're doing it now, find copyright. It takes them a while, and sometimes that copyright won't affect you. You just can't show the video anymore. You just can't do it. I mean, I should know. Not saying that I've had videos blocked, but it doesn't affect my channel monetization-wise. They just say I can't do it. I can't have it on the channel anymore. However, it also relates to copyright, because there are times I'll be getting a notice on my Gmail, and it will tell me that my channel, one of my older videos, I should say, on my channel has been copyright claimed, but it does not affect the viewership of, or the visibility of the video. It doesn't do that. Instead, it allows people to still view the video, but instead of me making some money off it, it will be made by those that, let's say, the music is licensed out to, or the visual footage is licensed out to. It's kind of like a 50-50 deal. It's like, yeah, go ahead, get the viewership, get all the subscribers and viewership numbers you want. That's great, no problem. But guess what? You ain't making no money off it. That's the only disadvantage. Now, there are ways people can get around this. There are ways people attempt to get around situations like that. Like for this one scene that Jack helped me find, where it looks like we have, I don't know if it's the main character or the main rival to the main character. I don't know. I think the actress's name is Anna Francisca, I think. And I do apologize for that vibration. I told you some of these were going to come in. I do apologize for that. But again, I don't know if the actress's name is Anna Francesca or something. But she plays one of the main characters. I don't know if it's the main rival to the main character or whatever the case is. But basically, she is taking, and obviously there's a lot of bath scenes in this telenovela, if you will. That only ran for one season. It only ran for one season, but there's a lot of bath scenes. There is a lot of bath scenes. In fact, there's more than I think anybody can count on. And, one thing Jack likes to do is he wants to know if anybody can find scenes that he's not aware of for shows like this that he may have missed, or other shows and movies that have them that he may have not thought of, thought of originally. But to get to the point, there's this scene, it's in episode 30, because I asked him, okay, well, what is it? Because what I did, because one of the things I like about the bubble bath thing with women, and I say it with all due respect, no offense, But one of the things that made me a fan of the bubble bath thing, especially with women in it, is basically the 1990 film Pretty Woman. That's what made me a fan of it. That's what made me a fan. And I think a little before it, or around the same time, was the Hogan family, originally known as Valerie. But basically, Pretty Woman is what made me become a fan of it because, of course, you have that iconic bubble bath scene with Julia Roberts and Richard Gere. It's known as the deal scene. And when he finally, gives her a number that, she's not expecting, she says, "Holy shit," laughs, and then submerges under the bubble bath. And then next thing and the next thing you see pop up a little bit or emerge a bit is Richard is leaning down over the tub going like, Vivian, is that a yes? He's asking her basically if he, because he's wondering if he can, I guess he's wondering if she can hear him. He's leaning over going like, Vivian, is that a yes? And I do apologize for that notification there, guys. I do apologize. That's an email notification. But he's leaning over a little bit. And as he's doing this, you see very slowly, almost in a very sensual way, Julia bringing up her knees a little bit and then, kind of like tapping her feet on the bottom of the tub before she kind of emerges back up, and she's got, suds all over her and everything. But again, as a kid, when I saw that, first thought in my mind was, oh, she's became part of the bowl bath, because she's like slowly bringing her knees up, acting like I am now one with the bath, and everything. It's so crazy. It's so fun. It was just such a funny scene. But again, it was the main scene that got me to become a fan of it. But that wasn't the only one. There was another scene that happened years prior, but I saw it, I think, around the same time, ironically. And that was, like I said, in the Hogan family, a.k.a. Valerie show, where the neighbor does a little shopping for Valerie or something, something arise. She buys stuff for Valerie, and one of the things she buys for her is bubble bath. And what happens at the end of the episode is Valerie decides she's going to go take a bubble bath, go relax, get away from it all, and she turns up the radio on the, in the bath, because, she would have one of those bath radios, you put on the tub, attach to the tub or something like that. And she's listening to music, kind of like, kind of orchestrating the calm music she's listening to and everything, orchestrating it. And then all of a sudden she's hearing her sons arguing again, going like, yeah, and they're calling for her. And then what she does is she slowly submerges under the bath, but she keeps her hands and arms up above, and she's doing the thing and basically making it look like they've become, they've kind of taken on a life of their own, to where she submerges under and all you see is her arms and her hands just waving up and down and going like, this and everything, kind of like I said, taking on a life of their own, and so on. But anyway, the point I'm getting at, basically is it's because of those kind of scenes that I became a fan of, the bubble bath. Not just, taking one myself and, I'm sure a lot of people do, but basically, because of the fact, and again, I say this with all due respect, no offense, mainly because of, the fact that I became a fan of women, taking bubble baths and mostly submerging under them. I mean, every time I see a scene like that, or a scene like that is shown in a trailer, it always makes me wonder, okay, are they going to have the characters submerge? And sometimes they do. There have been, believe it or not, some recent ones where I'm like, oh, they actually did it. Cool. So it always would, kind of make me wonder until I see the scene. And then if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Heck, it happened, it happened as far back as National Lampoon's European Vacation, but that was more of an awkward situation for Beverly D'Angelo's Helen character and everything, because of the hotel they were staying in. It's like, yeah, if you're Helen Griswold in European Vacation, I think you would have waited till you got to a better hotel that had its own bathroom to do something like that. But anyway, or at least lock the door. basically put a sign, lock the door, be done with it. Anyway, though, there have been situations, scenes and all that where, we've had the female character, the female protagonist, or even the antagonist do that. We've had that happen. Heck, what's funny is what's happened in recent years. This is the one thing Jack has. He has a playlist of American bath scenes and international bath scenes, which include American bath scenes. But what's interesting is one of them is from another telenovela, if you will, more comedic though, I think, in tone, where you have one of the main characters, one of the main female characters. I guess she's kind of one of those women that, you pay her enough, she's going to give you a good time and everything, and all that. And it might lead to something more with her. Who knows? So there's a episode that he has in the playlist where she is, going to have a good time. Is going to give this rich guy a good time, and she's basically, in my opinion, almost essentially reenacting or redoing the Pretty Woman scene, except with the exception of this, no Richard, with the exception of it's just her in the bath singing and all that, and then she submerges under. So that's about it, and he's just waiting for her to show up before they can have a good time, if you know what I mean. And what's crazy too is one thing I've noticed. What's crazy is basically you have a lot of women, and I say it with all due respect, no offense, who right here on YouTube and other places are posting uploading videos of them reenacting the Pretty Woman scene. I'm not denying that. I'm not lying about that. They're all women. There's even like a multi-clip video of this one girl singing, and then her boyfriend or guy is leaning over, and then she notices him noticing her. Then she opens her eyes and notices him. That he's looking at her, smiling and everything, and she submerges under. She takes the earphones off and she submerges right under the ball bath before coming back up, kind of reenacting the scene. And you can tell that's what they were doing. But again, to get to the point of this audio video, basically Jack and Goph and others, they have playlists like this to where it's an entire show, if not an entire movie, that they've added to there, that only has one scene, has only one bubble bath scene, and then that's it. And it's like, okay, you wonder to yourself, okay, why couldn't you just, use some kind of software to just clip that one scene? And my assumption is this. One, I don't think, like a lot of us financially, they don't have the money to, afford that kind of stuff. And two, despite the fact that they could either get a premium account temporarily to download these things, they don't want to do it because of, again, money reasons. And secondly, they don't trust some of these video downloading sites because they could, be very suspicious, very malicious, if you know what I mean. And also when it comes to, using software, yeah, the software might be able to do its job, but you never know if there might be an issue. Like, okay, you're in the process of clipping one scene and all of a sudden, not the computer, but, and anything, but basically the software crashes. You get a message, all of a sudden it just goes off, and then you get a message that's saying software crashed or corrupted software or something like that. And you're thinking, what's going on here? Everything else was fine. Like, let's say you do projects before that, everything's fine, and all of a sudden that happens. You see, I don't think people want to risk that. I don't think people like Jack or others want to risk that, so that's understandable. But I would suggest that the more logical direction to go in my opinion, is to at least look around. And again, I know Jack and Goph and others do that, but my suggestion is to keep looking, and also when you get the opportunity to basically clip those scenes out, just clip them out. That's all you have to do. One of the best solutions, in my opinion, if you want to do that, is to use is to use a service like, let's say, OBS Studio, or maybe even Adobe or CyberPower or CyberPower Director. Use any one of those three, in my opinion, because I think all three of them together have the whole screen thing, where you can basically connect the screen. Basically, when it's looking for an outlet, like it's looking for something to it's looking for an output. Is what I'm trying to say. It's looking for a source. You can do that. You can do that. So, in my opinion is use either OBS Studio or something from Adobe Premiere Pro, or maybe CyberPower Director, or whatever you feel more comfortable with. Find the scene, pause that scene, and then what you do is you use the studio to basically focus on that one scene, clip out the duration of the scene that you want to have for it, and then go from there. And in that way, you have a better chance, if you want to upload it to the YT, you'll have a better chance of keeping it on the YT without any issues of copyright or anything. Because again, there are certain, situations to where if you go beyond it, it's going to probably cause an issue. But to me, just clip out a certain portion of the scene and go from there. Now, there are other ways to do it too. There are capture devices. Yes, there are. There are capture devices that you can use. All you'd have to do is connect your capture device to your to your system, or to your computer, or to whatever your outlet that you're going to capture the image off of from. Do that, and then basically, like I said, find the scene, record the scene, maybe give yourself a little bit of a heads up, record the scene, and then end it after it's done. Unrecord it after it's done. Then you got your scene, and you should be good to go. So that's just my opinion on how to basically focus on the one scene instead of just putting an entire movie or episode on YouTube just to get to that one moment. That's my opinion. On how I would do it, because to me it's a lot easier. I mean, that's how basically, when you look, going back to the melting clips, to the melting compilations I did, that's how I did it with them. I basically used my capture device to basically record those scenes, or capture those scenes, and edit them together using Movie Maker, and the rest is history. So to me, the best solution in my opinion is to go in that direction. That's just my opinion. That is the best solution, to go in that direction, to use either software on your computer like Adobe Premiere Pro, CyberPower Director, OBS Studio, or maybe even ULED, if that's still a thing. Use them, and in that way you could capture that one scene, and then you won't have to worry about uploading the entire movie or the show. Now, I understand that some people will do that because, excuse me. Like I said, it's early. I do apologize. But anyway, like I'm saying, you could basically, not have to worry about uploading the entire movie or the entire show. Now, as I was trying to say before, I almost got tongue-tied there, I get why people do that, though. They do it because maybe along with the scene being in there, which I would recommend if you want to do that, just timestamp where the scene's at, timestamp it. Basically, I understand that when people do that, not only are they doing it because of that one scene or multiple scenes, but also because they want to give people an idea of what the show might be, the show is about, and see maybe if they might like it, So that to me, that to me is a good, that's a good, gesture. That is a good gesture to, to go with. Like, hey, here's where the scene is, timestamp it, but here, check this show out, check this movie out, you might enjoy it. So, so I can understand it's a good gesture. But again, to me, what you need to do is just clip out. You need to clip out, find a way to, screenshot or screen record that one scene and be done with it. And again, you have various options. You can use a capture device on your TV or your computer, or you can use a software like OBS Studio, Cyber Power Director, Adobe Premiere Pro, or whatever one you feel comfortable with, and go with that. And you should be good to go. Or if you want to chance it, you could download the video through a YouTube downloader site, third-party site, if you want to chance it. Or you could just go to Premiere route, and that will, let you download as much as you want. Now, there are other options too. There are other options, sometimes a little bit more safer, like Facebook. I mean, basically, when he told me what episode the scene was in that I was looking for from the telenovela, the Chocolate con Pimenta, when he told me what episode it was, I looked it up, and it took me to a Facebook post of it. So you can find them on Facebook too, if not Twitter as well. And what you can do is you could upload, the link. If it's public, you can upload the link to a Facebook downloader site, which is a little bit more safer, believe it or not, and get the episode there, and then use whatever, like I said, video software you have, editing software you have, to just get that one clip, and you're good to go. But there are various ways, like I said, to do it. Again, if you don't want to spend money on YouTube Premiere and all that, or YouTube TV, or whatever the case may be, if you don't want to risk third-party YouTube video downloaders and all that, then my best solution, in my opinion, outside of that, is to basically go with software like OBS Studio and OBS Studio, Cyber Power Director, and Adobe Premiere Pro to do it. Now you might say, well, they still need the content. Well, that's what I'm saying. That kind of plays into the situation either way, because again, you could take a chance at a third-party YouTube downloader site and do it, or you could use YouTube Premiere and do Premium, and I should say YouTube Premium and do it, and that's fine. But as I was saying, if you have Cyber Power Director or OBS Studio or Adobe Premiere Pro, or any software that's similar to that allows you to screen record or capture record the video you want, or the website you want, or that has a video player, then you should be good to go. All you have to do is get to that one scene, then set up the software, you're good to go. But then again, the other option is you could also go down the route of video capture. Use your video capture device, do it like that, and you should be good to go. But again, that's just me. That's just my way of, looking at it and making it a little bit more, I guess you could say, easier to, I wouldn't say easier, but more, I guess you could say, easier for those that you want to share the content with to just see that one scene. And then if you want to, in the description, you could tell them where it's from, and they could check it out, or they could check out where it's, check out the show or movie where it's from, and you can even timestamp where it's at in said movie or said film. I mean, heck, there's a movie that I heard about, that somebody told me on Twitter. They messaged me, and I asked them, okay, where's the scene at? I can't find it. So I looked for the movie. I looked at the movie more closely, and then I found out, oh, it's at the very beginning, Anyway, though, that's kind of a situation to where, they put the scene in, they shared the scene, they captured the scene, but they didn't say exactly where it was at. There's other people online here as well on YouTube that, like I said, have other, tropes that they're fans of and everything. And one of them is a person called Invisible Women Are My Love. That's their YouTube channel name, Invisible Women Are My Love. And what they do is basically, if you have an idea for a scene that involves an invisible woman and everything, or a woman becoming invisible, they will find it, and then they will find the show, and then they will clip that scene or various scenes. And this is how I found out that basically in season 6 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, you had Buffy go invisible, and she was having freaking fun with it. She was feeling very liberated until she realized, oh, I can't stay this way forever, and all that, she started to realize the side effects and all the, crap going on and stuff like that. But she was having fun for the time being. But the point is, he clipped scenes from Buffy, from that episode of Buffy, to, that he felt would be more fun and silly to work with, if you know what I mean. Same with the Invisible Kid. He focused on China Phillips' character, going invisible, doing the little invisible striptease and then getting her clothes back on and all that while she was still invisible. He focused on that. He focused on other stuff as well. The point I'm getting at is he's sharing his love. He's sharing his guilty pleasure, if you will, because of the fact that, he wants to see if there's other people out there, that are fans of it. I mean, I'm not going to deny it. I'm a fan as well. I don't, it's just something that, something unique about it. If I can use a more sensible word, something more unique about it and all that. It's just a little bit more. It's something to, you can look at and say, oh, it's a lot more fun to see and everything. But again, this is, like I said at the beginning, this is nothing uncommon with anybody that has a guilty pleasure or the fan of a certain trope or genre when it comes to movies or shows, animated or live action. It's no big secret. I mean, you look at YouTube, you look at Rumble, you look at VENMO, you look at, Daily Motion, and you see a lot of this. You look at Facebook, you look at, for example, you look at Facebook and they got groups dedicated to this kind of stuff. The point I'm getting at is there's no shame in it. There's no shame whatsoever. But my advice, though, is to look at what others are doing and realize, okay, I need, or at least, well, not realize, but kind of consider, let me correct myself. You look at what others are doing and kind of consider that maybe going in that direction is probably the best solution. Just use certain outlets that you trust that will allow you to just get that one scene or various scenes that might be in the show or movie, focus on them and go from there. So that way you don't have to upload the whole movie, or that way you don't have to put the whole movie in a playlist. You just have that one scene. But again, I understand why people would do the whole movie, the whole show, because that way not only do you get to see where that scene's from, but maybe you might want to enjoy the movie, or maybe they figure you might enjoy the movie, as much as they did. But, that's just my opinion, that's just my thoughts and all that. But I highly recommend checking out Jack and Goph here on YouTube. He's basically, his channel is one of those unique channels to where it might seem a little like, this is interesting. But the more you look at it, the more you understand, the more you look at it and everything, the more you grow a fondness for it, the more you grow an appreciation of the fact that people have these guilty pleasures, if you will, of theirs that they want to share with the world and they're not ashamed of it. And that's a good thing. So anyway, though, guys, I just wanted to come on here and talk about this. I know it may have sounded a little, different, may seem a little different, but I just wanted to come on here and talk about this, kind of give you a little bit of history as to why I'm a fan as well, but also kind of give advice to those like Jack and others that if you want to share that scene, a certain scene, and all that from the movie or show it's from, then just use whatever you feel you could trust software-wise or video capture-wise to just get that one scene, and you should be good to go. But again, if you want to, share the scene, but also share the movie where it's from, that's cool too, not a problem. But anyway, though, guys, that's all I'm going to say for right now. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section below. Like the video, ring the bell for notifications, subscribe to the channel. Also, Super Chats are open. Super Chats are indeed open, if you will, in the live chat if you haven't already done that. Super Thanks will also be open after the premiere of this video. Also, guys, check me out at all your favorite podcast affiliates like iTunes, iHeartRadio, Audible for Amazon, Pandora, Spotify, Radio Public, Overcast. Anywhere there's a podcast, you will find mine there as well. Excuse me. Also, ladies and gentlemen, check me out at VENMO at BW Roses, Rumble at BW Roses, at Odyssey at bwroses.5. Also, check me out at deviantart.com at bvw1979. Inkbuddy.net at bwroses. Also, check out the Patreon at bwroses. And find me at Cash App and Venmo to help support me there. And also, guys, check me out at my Teespring store for merchandise you can't get anywhere else. Also, support and follow me on Twitter at bwroses, Blue Sky at bwroses, and on TikTok at bwroses. And again, guys, I do apologize for a little stumbling here, a little space in the words and stuff. Like I said, I just woke up a little while ago and everything. So, yeah, I just wanted to come on here, though, and tell you about this, give you my thoughts, my history, and also a little bit of advice as well. And until next time, guys, I will talk to you later. Again, I do apologize for the notifications and all that doing this. But that's what happens when you record on a phone or a tablet. And again, for an example, that is what I was talking about. But, guys, let me know what your thoughts are overall. And until then, I'm out.